Anatomy School!
The name's Juan. Martin Juan.
Hi, I'm Christy.
Hi, my name's Daisy.
My name's Edward. Yeet.
And I'm Tom.
What's wrong, Tom?
Oh, my thighs really hurt. I've been in the gym doing squats. It's leg day.
What a coincidence, because in today's episode of
Anatomy School!
we'll be looking at the thigh.
Well, all I really know about the thigh is the bones.
Well, I know there's only one bone in the thigh, and that's the femur. And the femur is a long bone. The head of the femur attaches the leg to the rest of the body at the hip joint. The hip joint is a synovial ball and socket joint, which means it allows the femur to move in all three planes. This allows the hip joint to flex, extend, adduct, abduct, and medially laterally rotate. The socket part of the hip joint is the os coxae, which is made up of three smaller bones. The most superior of these is the ilium, which we think of as our hip. On the posterior side is the ischium, and anteriorly to that is the pubis bone. The joint at the distal end of the femur is called the knee joint. Here, the femur is attached to another long bone called the tibia by a modified synovial hinge joint, which allows for extension, flexion, and slight medial lateral rotation. Just laterally to the tibia is another long bone called the fibula, and a small sesamoid bone called the patella protects the anterior compartment of the knee and increases the lever arm of the extensor mechanism to help the knee flex and extend smoothly.
Let's begin digging deep into the medial section of Tom's leg. When we pull our leg closer to the middle part of our body, the action is called adduction. Therefore, a lot of the muscles which are used for this movement are called adductors. The adductor magnus is this large triangular muscle here. Magnus means big. This muscle has a hole in it. This hole is the adductor hiatus. Hiatus means opening or hole. We'll come back to this adductor hole later on. Lying right in front of the big adductor magnus, we find a very short muscle called the adductor brevis. Brevis means short. The last muscle, named adductor, lies superficially to adductor brevis. It is long, so it's called adductor longus.
On top of adductor brevis, we have a short muscle here. It's pectineus. It originates here on the pubic bone and attaches to the femur. There's one more medial thigh muscle we haven't talked about. Do you see the other muscle? That's right, it's here. This is gracilis. Say hi, gracilis.
Hi, Gracilis!
Gracilis is special because it joins to a different bone from the other medial thigh adductors. It arises from the inferior body of the pubic bone and joins onto the tibia. These muscles, with an exception to pectineus, are innervated by the obturator nerve and form the medial thigh adductors. This allows me to close my legs like a good girl. But these muscles don't help me raise my leg. You have to meet my friends the quads for this. The quad...
Hey. You've been talking for long enough. It's my turn now. It's my turn.
But I only got to talk about
No, it's my turn.
Where'd you get that?
That's what you get. And now to the quads.
There are 5 superficial anterior thigh muscles. The quadriceps femoris, or quads, is a muscle group consisting of 4 muscles. Rectus femoris originates from the ilium and covers the middle of the thigh. The 3 vastus muscles originate from the femur. Vastus lateralis sits on the lateral side of the femur. Can you guess what sits on the medial side of the femur? That's right, vastus medialis. Vastus intermedius lies between vastus lateralis and vastus medialis and deep to the rectus femoris. All 4 muscles attach to the patella via the quadriceps tendon. The rectus femoris attaches to the ilium and can flex the thigh at the hip joint. All 4 quadriceps are extensors of the knee and play an important role in stabilizing the patella and knee joint. The sartorius muscle is the longest muscle in the body. Wow! It attaches to the anterior superior iliac spine, crosses the knee and hip joint, and ends with a tendon that inserts into the tibia. The sartorius muscle flexes, abducts, and laterally rotates the thigh at the hip joint and helps to flex the knee joint.
So does everyone know what else is also important for the functioning of the thigh? That's right, you also need a nerve, an artery, and a vein. The nerve controls the muscles, the artery brings oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, and the vein takes away waste products and carbon dioxide. At the top, we have the external iliac vein, which carries blood to it brought by the femoral vein. The artery version is surprisingly called the external iliac artery, and also leads to its femoral artery. We also have here the femoral nerve, and this controls all the anterior muscles of the thigh. We also have here the great saphenous vein, which is the longest vein in the body and leads from the foot all the way to the femoral vein. And that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on today's episode. We'll see you next episode when we talk about the posterior thigh.